Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Operation Status Quo. We're back. We're back like a heart attack. Sorry if you had a heart attack out there. Nothing funny about that. Hold on a second. Get rid of this guy. Do an AO for the heck of it. How we doing out there on a, what is today? Today is, what is today? Wednesday. My goodness. It's been like, it's been crazy over the past number of days. I don't well, that's what I'm kind of going to talk about today a little bit, in regard to, the subject matter of the show. But, how we feeling out there? How you vibing? I am Pete Palma. This is Operation Status Quo, the space where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then most importantly, it is where we learn, or at least observe and try to create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. So what are you doing out there today to create your own flow of quo? Because you don't want to go into the normal flow of quo that we see out there in our mainstream daily lives, right? Because we understand that it kind of is a little heavy at times and has a tendency to bring people down. Quite honestly, it just brings you down a little bit. But we don't get down here. We have laughter. We have happiness. We have a few crybabies, a few complainers, but in general, we do pretty good. I know. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So today is the, what is today? Today is, still can't remember the day. First of all, yesterday, which was the 19th, today's the 20th. See, I did remember. But yesterday was the 19th. And for those that are interested in the astrological ongoings and whatnot, was the big day that for Pluto finally moved into Aquarius. I find this interesting because I never really thought about Pluto transits before. I was never into that level of astrology, when I was younger. I heard stuff or this little bits and pieces of things, but not to the capacity that I've been over the past, few years. And not that I know anything, but I've listened a lot more and kind of learned some stuff. But anyhow, so it's interesting to think about because, I never would have thought about it in younger years that, Pluto went through, Sagittarius, then it did a 20-year time through, then another 20-year, Capricorn, and now we're basically kind of done that 20 years, and now 20 years of, Aquarius, and, Pluto represents change so much, and then it highlights things that are, in that sign. I find it fascinating to myself personally because, I never learned so much about our birth charts and everything. We're never really taught that as a true means of guidance in our lives, but, it is part of the energetic interplay of everything that occurs. So I, when I started looking into things, found out I was an Aquarius moon, which makes so much sense, really, because I'm a Leo sun sign, which, why I'm more like a, talker and out there and gregarious and, all that kind of thing that I do, performer, whatever you want to say. But the Aquarius side of me, which is which is more of taking away the individual for more the greater good of the whole, and also, technology, science, things that I'm not really into science and technology, but it's but I do find Aquarius is kind of a, more of a colder sign in a sense. And I realize that about myself, and this is leading into what I'm talking about today too. But Aquarius is kind of more of can be emotionless in certain ways. And I've realized that about myself because as much as I am a person that likes to, express, and I'm happy to be in front of a crowd and do whatever, that kind of thing doesn't bother me. I don't feel, inhibited or intimidated. I don't, I like the bounciness, of my personality. Not everyone jives with everybody, but, my way of presentation in general, I feel is a way that I just notice it in my interactions with people. I can feel people light up in a way, the way I present myself to them. I always try to make, people feel comfortable and happy, but on the Aquarius side of things, I could easily just sit by myself all day long and say, oh, that's not the applause I wanted. Where's my damn applause? That's the applause I wanted. I can sit by myself all day long. Leave me alone. Get out of here. We don't need anything. But anyway, that's what's going on with the so it's a new time. How you feeling? Are you feeling, because now our world's going to move into kind of a different approach as far as the Capricorn structures, which are much more about, institutions and business and all these kind of hard structures that we've lived within since 2008. So now we'll see what happens as we go in through the next 20 years, which should be more through Aquarius, more innovation and scientific. And you see what's going on even with the AI and things like that are coming about now and everything. So it's really a wonderful time of experience. But let me get into, because I want to kind of wrap this into what I intend to kind of talk about, which is who in the hell knows what I'm ever talking about. I just come over here. I come to you, the beautiful people, because I love you. Who's that? That was, is that the Blue Climax Band? I think it was called the Blue Climax Band that had that song. I love you. That's about all I remember right now. So today is the 20th of November in the good year 2024, and today's program is entitled The Existence, The Existence, The Existence, The Existence, The Existence. Because we all are existing in one capacity or another. But I find it interesting, and here's how it kind of started. Yesterday, was it yesterday? No, the day before. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I don't know how I got on whatever subject, but then the conversation led to him asking me, like, basically, not in this exact words, but, what I thought happened, kind of when we pass on from this life. And I, basically said, we never die. We never die, really, because everything is really just a transition of energy into another form. And then I said, I don't even believe, that I'm Pete. Like I'm the observation of, Pete's existence, right? Then he started laughing, like, oh, you don't even know who you are, you know what I mean? But that was kind of funny. But it led me more into thinking. It just kind of went down a track from that conversation and the course of yesterday of just thinking about interactions with people and what relationships really are, what our existence really means. Like we're alive, right? And, we think, what do we think we're alive for? It's like, we're really here, right? We're here, even though we're not. We are and we're not. It's a hologram. It's a matrix. It's an expression through frequency and vibration. It's a much deeper, level type thing. But at the same time, we are, as far as we perceive, we're here, right? So I'm really working on trying not to say, by the way. It's another thing this person told me. He says, you say a lot. You say you know a lot. And it's annoying. And I apologize. So please, if you're out there watching, do me a favor. Count. I shouldn't even bring it to your attention, but count how many times I say and put it in the comments. Ayo. Not Ayo, but So Ayo's different. This is Ayo. Hold on, let me go back. This is Ayo. If you hear Ayo, this doesn't count. Ayo is not I don't know. It's just I guess it's the way I express myself. I think quickly as I'm speaking, and I guess I'm trying to fill the space with a bunch of other words. So I apologize for any annoying tics that I may have in my presentation, but I'm just me existing as I exist. So anyway, the interplay of our relationships with people made me start thinking of, it's a weird thing, because I keep feeling that my brain is expanding away from itself in a sense, being less me, not me, I'm not existing, I'm not a person, or I'm not in touch with what's going on in the world, but I just feel a pull away from all these entanglements and attachments, and more towards observation and feeling, and what am I feeling and why? You go through periods where you're feeling, really happy, and then you don't feel happy, right? And you're trying to figure out why is today a bad day? Why is today not, feeling myself, or what is it about this thought that I have that's creating me to think in a way of say negativity, but yeah, in a way what takes you from a moment? What's the difference between a moment of happiness and a moment that is contentious in a sense? It's really just observation and what we project onto it. I'm trying to say that like relationships, we put so much pressure on, let's say, pleasing others per se, but we want to be in good graces with others. We want to be accepted or liked, or we want to fit into things. We want to be polite. I don't know what all this type of stuff, but which we should be to a certain degree, of course, polite and courteous and all those things. But at the same time, relationships generally are just a reflection of ourselves, back to ourselves, right? So every relationship we have is a kind of a purposeful interaction to elicit a certain thought process and way of thinking. I'll even speak on it from the sense of me moving here to Florida. Like, I didn't intend to not be around people that I used to be around a lot, like even my family, that still live up in the undisclosed location in Northeast Corridor. That's what I used to say before on YouTube. I go broadcasting live from an undisclosed location in the Northeast Corridor, but from my Jersey location, they still live there. And I never would have thought that I would go X amount of time and not see, my mom or something. Saying that we, of course, we're in touch, but at the same time, the dynamic of the relationship has changed just based on, me moving, which I didn't intend to do or didn't do for a particular reason of getting away from. I'm just trying to say, I'm just seeing all this lately with all the dynamics of different relationships that I have, like, changing, and how some things don't change. I have another friend of mine, I was in touch with a couple days ago, and I'm not going to even tell the whole story, but just the way the situation went, we had a conversation, and then the way things ended up, and I thought back and I was like, that's exactly what would have happened 10 years ago. It's like the same story. It's really interesting of how, like, energy just is, and the pressure sometimes we put on ourselves of trying to fit into molds. This is why I say all the time, like, how important it is not to attach to things, in a sense, especially not to attach to certain ideals, certain ideas, certain ideologies. All these type of things are limiting in a way, because, like, we're like an ebb and flow all the time of energetic confluence, and like, I noticed I said, this is going to bother me. Why did this guy have to tell me about me saying I know? I'm going to have to go get some therapy so I can stop saying, I'm going to need some electroshock therapy. Every time you say this, it'd be like Clockwork Orange, when they drop the shit in his eyes, make him watch all that stuff and make him sick to see it. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I just found it interesting, because I felt in a way a little bit, I don't want to say distant in a sense. I mean, but I have no problem, like, with, it's just an interesting thing. Like, this world is happening, and there's all these things going on politically and, socially. And I'm not saying that's, that is part of the whole. Again, like, my overall belief is everything, my feeling is, everything is one moment in time, one expression, and it works the way it works and plays itself out all at once in multitudes of ways. And what you decide to put your energy into is what is going to exist. And it's just I don't know, I just found it, as I'm pondering as I'm speaking, I just, like, try and explain the vibe of like attachment, non-attachment, and then you maybe have an interaction and you feel guilty for something you said, and then you wonder if you presented yourself correctly. Then you wonder if is another person agitated based on a thought you expressed, or the way a conversation related, even if it really wasn't meant to relate that way. It's just like, it's so intangible, and yet we're so entrenched in the thoughts of it's just such an interesting thing to, like, to live, like, in a program of, like, this is what we do today. This is how you act in this situation. This is what you say. Oh, you have to apologize for this. Oh, you have to stand up for yourself for that. It's just a weird thing, when in reality, everything outside is a reflection back. And there really is, I mean, I hate to say it in a way, but, like, there's, it's just like, I love people, being around people, and I don't think this as heavily as it sounds, but there really is no other person to connect with. There really is no, I mean, everything's more a situation and a connection of frequency of some sort to create to create something else. It's not more so that, it's a relationship per se or a friendship. This is like what I'm talking about with this coldness of this Aquarius sign I have, like where it's almost like the Borg, it's just the Borg just exist, but as a collective, they can accomplish like amazing things without thinking, Borg number 2 over here hurt my feelings, and Borg number 5 over there was a jerk today, and all that type of stuff. It's just they're not even thinking that way. It's just a confluence of connection. And I'm not saying we should be like robots or anything. I just think it's something to observe, because that's what we do here on Operation Status Quo. We observe kind of things outside the boundaries. We're not observing, what happened on Netflix yesterday. We observe, well, we might. It just depends on what happened, I guess. It might be something worth talking about someday. But in general, we're talking about, bigger concepts, things that are like kind of the intangibles, things beyond what we're doing in our everyday. Like our everyday and this physicality and the everyday mechanics sometimes take us away from this broader spectrum of what we have opportunity to tap into. And I'm not saying this again about, the point I'm bringing up and why I'm bringing it up is just, the couple interactions I had in the beginning of the week just kind of really made me reflect on dynamics of relations with people and how our own thoughts and fears or insecurities or wants or need, I don't know, whatever words you want to use, how all those things come into play of how we present, ourselves to others. And then we see that reflection back. It's so important to be responsible and aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions. Important to be responsible and aware of the concept of, our physicality and what's beyond it, and our duty to observe it and utilize it in the capacity for the growth we're here to experience, which sometimes I think I don't see why. Why are we going through all this when everything is peaceful, everything is blissful, and one beautiful energy on the other side? What the hell are we doing over here? Hey-o. But that's not for me to question. I'm just here to observe and to experience and to upload the most positive I can to the mainframe of consciousness itself. So that's what we're doing here on Operation Status Quo. That's what we're trying to do. So just try to be aware of that kind of thought process a little bit when it comes to relations with others and what's going on in the world today and everything else. We choose what we want to interact with. We choose what we want to, I guess in a way we choose what we want to see reflections of, because everything we see is a reflection of, what's going on within ourselves. So if there's even people who are really heavy into following the mainstream news and the doom and gloom, something about them wants to be part of that, because otherwise you wouldn't put your energy into that. Because if you don't put your energy into it, I'm not saying it doesn't exist on some level, because everything does exist, because everything's one moment, right? Is what I'm trying to say. But if you don't put your energy into that, it's not necessarily part of your existence. I guess until the nukes drop on your neighborhood, and then all of a sudden it's a big problem. I get it. I know. Here they come. I don't even know that they drop nukes from helicopters nowadays, but here it comes. Hold on, I gotta go back over here. Real quick. Shoot down that helicopter. And here comes the nuke. And of course, we're a little late on the air raid side, and we should have had that before. All right, well, that's what I got for you here today on Operation Status Quo. The existence. What is it? It's not just our existence, not just your existence, our individual existence, but the existence itself. What it means, to study it, to study what it means to exist, instead of just running off to live a 9-to-5 life. I hate to be that way, as I always talk about mainstream and all. I just don't like it. I don't like the confines of a structure and I'm not saying we can't have structures or parameters for certain ways of certain things, but at the end of the day, to have one structure encapsulate everything that people are supposed to do in a course of a lifetime and break it down into stages and years and everything else, it's it's a little crazy when you think you live, you're born, you have this one life, and it is what it is, and that's what you're going to do with it. When it's like beyond, there's so much more beyond. So I don't know. That's what I just try to encourage people to, look beyond and see what else is out there and not put so much credence on, what we've been taught in the little petri dish. I haven't said that in a long time. The little petri dish of shit, and the little petri dish of shit that they keep us in, because there's a lot more out there. And don't take things so seriously. I'll leave you with this, because, I say this a lot too, but don't take things so seriously. Even your interactions with others and the weight you feel from them in certain senses, whether, whatever, I don't know. I mean, this is whatever. Nothing's that heavy. We just have to just relax and observe. That's what it's all about. That's what we do here on Operation Status Quo. We're observing and creating our own flow of quo-yo. So make sure you do that. And on top of that, if you haven't done so already, please take the time to like, subscribe, share. Send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. As you very well know, I love each and every one of you out there individually as well as a group. Please check out my website, PetePalma.com. More music coming. We're working on things. I'm going to be working on some videos to be getting up there too. And I'm slow sometimes, but it's all coming to be. So God bless you. Have a great day. And until next time, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.
Is a boulevard of 10 short blocks.